Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back, Beer Geek Nation. I'm your host, Chris. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, guys, we're looking at another kind of special limited release. This, my friends, is the Old Stock Cellar Ale 2009 vintage from North Coast Brewing out in California. It's basically North Coast's, it's their Old Stock Ale, which is an old ale that they release every year. It's the 2009 version of that. They put it in oak bourbon barrels. They age it for a year, and then they're going to release it the next year. So this is the current release. Comes in at 13.16%, so it's a massive, massive beer, significantly higher than Old Stock Ale. You know, it is expensive. It's an expensive beer. This bottle is about $25, so you know, and it's like a 16-ounce pour. So does it live up to the hype? Can it possibly sustain that price? Well, let's find out. Let me get into a glass, let you know how it smells, tastes, give you the verdict on North Coast Brewing's Old Stock Ale. Alright, so the appearance on the Old Stock Ale Cellar Reserve. It's a kind of a dark, murky brown. Looks kind of like a Coca-Cola almost. There's about a finger's worth of head on there. Dissipated very, very quickly at 13%. I would expect that, so no surprises there. Nice carbonation between the head of the glass that remains and the actual beer itself. Nice carbonation coming off the bottom. Alcohol feet just really, really clinging to the glass. It's kind of crazy looking. It's actually pretty clear. It's a lot clearer than I thought it was going to be for a bourbon barrel-aged beer, but yeah, it's a really different looking beer. Yeah, big bourbon notes. Really, really big, kind of raisiny vanilla bourbon notes coming through in this one. There's a little bit of booziness in there, but for 13%, I gotta tell you, it's not really, really overpowering like I thought it was gonna be. Nice big bready, malty notes. I'm getting brown sugar in there. There's a caramel sweetness, toffee definitely coming through, slight roasted notes. Yeah, really, really big bourbon characters in this one. Vanilla characters kind of take the show on this one. It's a really, really good smelling beer. Right, to the taste on the Old Stock Ale Cellar Reserve series. Let's give this one a go. Well, I gotta tell you, for 13.1%, you really don't taste it. First impressions are vanilla bourbon characters, that tobacco, that sweet tobacco, a nice kind of woodiness to it, like a dark wood kind of character to it. From the tongue, you get a slight chocolate note. I'm getting a slight kind of that sweet caramel, brown sugary kind of taste right on the tip of the tongue. Middle of the tongue, it's all vanilla. Bourbon, big caramel notes, bready notes, big malt notes, huge malty beer. It's a sweet malt. Back of the throat, really, really nice dry finish. There's a slight bit of sweetness, but that alcohol really is kind of burning going down. Helps to kind of cleanse the palate. It's not an overly carbonated beer, but there's definitely a little bit of carbonation in there, and again, that helps to kind of cleanse the palate too between tastes. And I'll tell you, the one big thing I noticed that stands out for me in this one, usually when a big beer like this gets aged in bourbon barrels, you get that kind of solvency from the alcohol in the bourbon barrels. I'm not getting that at all in this. I'm getting the vanilla, the woodiness, kind of everything a bourbon tastes like in the beer without adding that extra kind of hotness to it. And it goes a lot. I mean, that goes a big way in my book. I guess this is a year-old though, so I would expect that, but it's just a really kind of mellow, smooth, big vanilla, bourbony, malty treat. It's just a really nice tasting beer. Alright, so the final verdict on the Old Stock Ale 2009 Cellar Reserve from North Coast Brewing. Available now, very limited availability, coming at 13.1%. Guys, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna give this one an A. It kind of surprised me a little bit. This is actually a perfect example of what a bourbon barrel can do for, you know, a really good base beer. And I tell you, the alcohol with that bourbon barrel doesn't come along all this way. It's really easy beer to drink. I gotta tell you, this is one of the best bourbon barrel aged beers I've ever had, and that goes a long way because I've had a lot of them. A lot of craftsmanship went into this one. You can taste it, you can smell it, you can see it in the beer, and it's just a very well crafted beer. Just another great beer from North Coast Brewing, so I highly recommend it. It's gonna get an A from me. And remember guys, life is too short. What do you gotta do? Drink amazing beers, please.